This is for the person who feels lost, for the one who feels pulled in 1,000 directions, drowning in the noise of a world that never sleeps. I promise you, there is a way back to yourself, a way to find stillness in the storm. Stay with me, because the final understanding we reach together is the key that unlocks everything. Observing mind. Have you ever sat down to do one thing, just one single task, and found yourself a moment later lost in a daydream, worrying about the future or scrolling on your phone without even remembering how you got there? This is the state of the untrained mind. It is not a failure on your part. It is simply the condition of a mind that has been taught to constantly seek, to constantly be stimulated. It is like a wild horse, powerful and full of energy, but running in every direction without a rider. It pulls you where it wants to go, not where you intend to go. And this leads to a feeling of exhaustion, of being out of control in your own life. We believe we are in charge, but most of the time, we are simply reacting to the whims of this restless energy within us. The first step, the most fundamental step on any path to clarity, is not to fight this horse. It is not to break its spirit. It is simply to learn to watch it. This practice of watching, of observing, is the beginning of all wisdom. It requires no special equipment, no particular place. It only requires a willingness to be still and to be honest with yourself. When we talk about observation, we are talking about creating a small space between you, the conscious awareness, and the activity of your mind. Think of your awareness as the deep, calm ocean, and your thoughts as the waves on the surface. The waves can be turbulent, they can be chaotic, but they do not affect the stillness of the ocean's depths. You are the ocean, not the waves. Your thoughts, your emotions, your anxieties, they are visitors. They come, and if you allow them to, they also go. The problem arises when we grab onto a wave, when we identify with it and say, "This storm is me." We forget our true nature as the calm, deep ocean. How do we begin this practice? It starts with the body. The mind and body are not separate. They are two parts of one system. Find a stable posture, sit on a chair or a cushion, and feel the connection to the ground beneath you. Allow your spine to lengthen as if a gentle string is pulling the crown of your head towards the sky. Let your shoulders relax. Your hands rest gently on your lap. This posture itself is a statement. It is a statement of dignity, of presence, of being here now. It communicates to your entire system that it is time to be alert yet relaxed. It is the physical foundation upon which mental clarity can be built. Once you have found this stability in the body, you can then turn your attention inward to the internal landscape of the mind. Now, you simply watch. What do you see? You will see thoughts arising, plans for the day, memories from the past, judgments about yourself, worries about what might happen. Do not push them away. Do not chase after them. Simply acknowledge their presence. You can even label them gently in your mind. Planning, worrying, an angry thought, a happy thought. By naming it, you create that crucial space. You see that you are the one who is aware of the anger. Therefore, you are not the anger itself. You are the one who observes the worry, so you are not the worry itself. This is a profound shift in identification. It is the beginning of freedom. The thoughts are like clouds passing in the sky. You are the vast open blue sky, and you are simply watching them drift by. Some are dark and stormy, others are light and puffy, but none of them are you. Inevitably, the mind will wander. This is not a mistake. It is what minds do. You will be observing, and suddenly you will realize that for the last 5 minutes, you have been completely lost in a story, planning a conversation, or reliving a mistake. The moment you realize this is a moment of victory, it is a moment of mindfulness. In that instant, you have woken up. And what do you do when you wake up? You do not scold yourself. You do not get frustrated. That is just another wave, another thought of judgment. Instead, with immense kindness and gentleness, you simply guide your attention back. Back to what? Back to an anchor. The most reliable anchor we all possess is our own breath. The breath is always with you. It is always in the present moment. You cannot breathe in the past, and you cannot breathe in the future. So you gently bring your awareness to the sensation of the breath entering your body. and the sensation of the breath leaving your body. You can feel it at the tip of your nose or the rise and fall of your abdomen. It doesn't matter where. Just choose a spot and rest your attention there. When the mind wanders away, notice it and gently guide it back to the breath. 1,000 times it may wander, and 1,000 times you will gently guide it back. This is the practice. This is the training. It is the slow, patient, and compassionate process of taming the wild horse. It is not about force, but about consistency. Why is this simple act so powerful? Because a mind that is observed is a mind that begins to settle. When you stop feeding the stories with your attention, they lose their power over you. The energy that was once consumed by constant mental chatter is now liberated. This liberated energy becomes clarity. It becomes a stillness from which you can see the world and yourself as you truly are, not through the distorted lens of your fears and desires. You begin to see the root causes of your own suffering. You notice how a small unkind comment can send you into a spiral of anger, and you can choose not to follow it. You see how a craving arises, and you can choose to simply watch it without needing to act on it. This is not suppression, it is wisdom. It is seeing the inner mechanism and choosing for the first time how to respond instead of just reacting. This clarity seeps into every corner of your life. When you are speaking with someone, you are truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak. When you are eating, you are tasting your food. When you are walking, you are feeling the ground beneath your feet. This is what it means to be alive, to be present for your own experience. The goal is not to achieve a perfectly empty mind. That is a misunderstanding. The goal is to cultivate a clear mind, a mind that is a friend and a servant, not a master. A mind that is spacious enough to hold both joy and sorrow with a sense of equanimity. This is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. It requires showing up day after day, even for just a few minutes, to sit with yourself and simply observe. This is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Purposeful action. Once we have begun to cultivate this inner stillness, this clarity that comes from observation, a new question naturally arises. What now? What do we do with this newfound space? Is the goal simply to sit on a cushion and watch our thoughts all day? No, the observation is the training ground, but life is the main event. The purpose of sharpening the axe is not to admire its sharp edge, it is to cut wood. The purpose of cultivating a clear mind is to engage with the world in a more skillful, compassionate, and meaningful way. This is the transition from inner stillness to purposeful action. It is about aligning what you do on the outside with the wisdom you are uncovering on the inside. This alignment is the source of a deeply fulfilling life. It is what we can call living with virtue. Virtue is not about following a rigid set of external rules or presenting a pious image to the world. True virtue is an inside job. It is the natural expression of a clear mind. When you are no longer tossed about by every reactive thought and emotion, you can begin to choose your actions with intention. You can ask yourself, is this action coming from a place of clarity and kindness, or from a place of fear, greed, or anger? This self-inquiry becomes the guiding principle of your life. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice. The way you respond to traffic, the way you speak to a cashier, the way you approach your work, these are all moments where you can choose to act from your highest self or from your unobserved conditioning. In our path, we often speak of the obstacles, the hindrances that cloud the mind and prevent this purposeful action. They are universal. The first is sensory desire, the constant wanting of more, the craving for pleasant sights, sounds, tastes, and feelings. The second is ill will, the anger, resentment, and aversion towards things we find unpleasant. The third is sloth and torpor, a heaviness of mind and body, a lack of energy and motivation. The fourth is restlessness and worry, the agitated monkey mind that cannot settle. And the fifth is skeptical doubt, not the healthy questioning that leads to wisdom, but the cynical doubt that paralyzes us and says, "What's the point? This will never work." These are not enemies to be vanquished, they are teachers. Through the practice of observation we developed in the first stage, we learn to see these hindrances as they arise. You can feel the pull of desire, the heat of anger, the weight of sloth. And because you can see them, you are no longer unconsciously controlled by them. You have a choice. When anger arises, you can recognize it. Ah, here is anger. You can breathe with it. You can feel its energy in your body without needing to lash out and cause harm to yourself or others. When restlessness takes over, you can acknowledge it and gently return to the anchor of your breath rather than seeking another distraction. This is how you work with the hindrances. You meet them with awareness. And over time, as you stop feeding them with your reactive attention, their grip on you begins to weaken. This is the very essence of what we call Gong Fu or Kung Fu. Most people think it means martial arts, but the term has a much deeper meaning. It means skill acquired through long, patient, dedicated effort. You can have Gong Fu in cooking, in calligraphy, in parenting, in listening. Your life itself can become your Gong Fu. The daily, consistent effort to act with clarity and purpose is the practice. It's not about grand, heroic gestures. It's about the small things. It is the cumulative effect of thousands of small, conscious choices. It is choosing to get up and sit for 5 minutes when your mind screams for you to stay in bed. It is choosing to take a breath before you reply to a frustrating email. It is choosing to put your phone away and be fully present with your family. This path requires consistency over intensity. Many people begin a new practice with great enthusiasm. They will meditate for an hour, go to the gym for 2 hours, and try to change everything at once. But this intensity often fades because it is unsustainable. The ego loves grand gestures. But true, lasting change comes from small, humble, daily actions. A single drop of water seems insignificant, but over years, it can wear a hole through the hardest stone. A 10-minute walk each day is more powerful than a 2-hour hike once a month. A few moments of mindful breathing scattered throughout your day can be more transformative than a single long meditation session that you dread. Find a level of practice that is sustainable for you and commit to it with gentle discipline. The final piece of this puzzle is learning to let go of the outcome. We act with purpose, we cultivate virtue, but we must release our attachment to the results of our actions. Why? Because the results are never fully in our control. You can speak with kindness, but you cannot control how the other person will receive it. You can work with diligence, but you cannot control whether your project will succeed or fail. If your happiness is attached to a specific outcome, you are setting yourself up for suffering. The true joy, the true freedom is found in the practice itself. You act with virtue because it is the right way to live, because it aligns with your deepest self, not because you expect a reward. The action itself is the reward. This is the ultimate shift. You move from a life of striving, grasping, and fearing to a life of flowing, contributing, and trusting. You do the work that is in front of you to the best of your ability, with a clear mind and an open heart, and then you let go. You plant the seeds, you water the garden, but you allow nature to take its course. This is not passivity. It is the highest form of action, an action free from the anxieties of the ego. It is a dance with life, where you are fully engaged in every step, but you are not trying to control the music. You are simply moving with it, beautifully and purposefully. This is the path. It is a daily return to observing your mind, and a daily choice to act from the clarity you find there. This journey is not about becoming a new person. It is not about eradicating your flaws or achieving some mythical state of perfection. It is about becoming fully and completely yourself. It is about stripping away the layers of conditioning, fear, and distraction so that the clarity, strength, and compassion that are already within you can shine through. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires your commitment, your patience, and your kindness. But every single step you take on this path, every moment you choose awareness over distraction, every action you take with purpose is a step towards home. For years, I felt like I was a passenger in my own life, just being dragged along by my anxiety and worries. The idea of observing your thoughts like clouds just clicked something in my brain. It feels like for the first time, someone handed me a map. It's not going to be easy, but for the first time, I feel like I have a direction. Thank you. Starting today.